It is the Riot on RadioU. Have you ever found yourself staring at a light in order to sneeze? Nikki and I have answers.
We have medical information concerning what you might have along with me.
Yeah. Other things in the podcast, farmers markets at work, the FTC, airports, apartments, little printers, orange chickens, Snuggies. Things like that.
It just seems like a great lineup for the show today. Mm-hmm. And if you want a little bit more, don't forget, we yesterday went out and tried. We actually did it. We went on a Riot road trip to try the new Starbucks Juniper Latte. And that video you can watch on our RadioU Riot Facebook page and RadioU Riot on YouTube if you make sure to follow and subscribe to both.
I will have to tell you that I really do think that video is worth watching because
all the way to the end.
There are a lot of things that should have been super simple and just absolutely fall apart.
It's worth you watching the entire thing.
Totally worth it. So, yeah, you can find it at riot.radiou.com or on our YouTube channel or our
Facebook page.
It's all there. So you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you later.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
What's worse than finding grounds in your coffee? Finding grounds in your coffee while listening to the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
I have learned a ton of things in the last 5 minutes, and it's all thanks to Nikki. So, Nikki,
woo!
Thank you, Nikki.
I didn't even know I was helping.
You did. Nikki came in, and she was like, I was just in the break room, and I was sneezing like crazy. There's something about light that makes you sneeze. Nikki, you probably have photic sneeze reflex.
Is that just something one develops when one has a cold, or?
No. It's something you were probably born with. Get a load of this. No. Real talk.
It's serious?
Yeah, and it's funny. And this sounds like a joke, so I had to do some digging around because I was like, man, this is made up. No, it's real. The photic sneeze reflex, also known colloquially as sun sneezing, or wait for this, autosomal compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst syndrome, which...
That's the medical term?
Achoo.
Really?
Yes. It affects approximately 18 to 35% of the population in the United States.
So I'm not alone.
But we don't really understand why it happens.
Sure.
Just that it does. And if you went in for eye surgery, you know, a lot of times with eye surgery, you just, like, you're awake because they got you awake.
Like LASIK or something?
Yeah. Like, they will test you for photic sneezing, and if you have it, they will apply certain medicines around your eye to block the sneeze reflex.
Ooh, that's weird.
Because they don't want you sneezing.
They don't want me sneezing during the surgery.
That's exactly right.
I just walked into the break room, and it was such bright light, and you could literally feel the sneeze like start to happen from it, and it was just a massive amount of sneezes. And then I came in here, and you have your light box on for your morning light therapy, and
yes,
man, that hurt too. I was like, just turn it all off.
So think about that for just a minute, though. Like, you spend, like, you guys don't know this about Nikki, but she spends her days in darkness.
Well, I am light sensitive, so if it's too bright, I get headaches.
Yeah,
so maybe that's all combined and attached to each other,
right? See, I'm light sensitive too, but I need it.
You do need it, yes.
And Nikki's over there like, man, I can't stop sneezing.
I am light sensitive, and I do not need it.
Yeah. So there. Oh, let's see a couple other ones for you. Photic sneezing. There's also this is great. Some people have what they call gustatory rhinitis.
What's that?
That is.
It sounds more like oomph to it.
You sneeze after you eat.
Really? Oh, that'd be painful.
Isn't that crazy? They say especially spicy foods, there's something about them that causes the sneeze reflex. And they don't really understand why.
I've seen people who have the hiccup reflex after, like, spicy food.
Oh, yeah.
But not sneezing.
Sneezing is the thing.
Weird. Is there any, like, there's no help for it? It's just it is what it is?
It is what it is.
Just close my eyes?
I guess so.
Just don't look at the light.
You've got the photic sneeze reflex.
Weird. Thank you, Dr. Obi, for telling me everything that's wrong with it.
Well, I had a little learning to do myself, Nikki. But, you know, even as a doctor, I play one on the radio.
So you're all good.
Even I have to learn sometimes.
And now I don't have to go to the doctor in case that ever comes up.
Nope, you're fine.
The Riot. Turn it down.
And rip the knob off.
RadioU.
If you follow video games or play at all, you probably know what a loot box is. It's basically, if you don't know, it's an in-game reward that is randomized. So you get a loot box, and a lot of times the loot boxes will be like color-coded. Like you'll get a plain one, a silver one, or a gold one.
And then you open it up and something's there, or it's by chance?
And there's something in there right there, but it's all by chance. Now, that was something that in games, it's gotten a little less popular because of the outrage. Last Christmas, the one that became like the real lightning rod for the controversy was Star Wars Battlefront 2. And that was a game where you were encouraged to buy loot boxes, and there were a lot of things kind of locked behind loot boxes. And it was like, hey, you can buy loot boxes with in-game rewards, but why wait? You can use real-world money to buy these loot boxes.
To kind of speed up the process.
Right. Well, a lot of people spoke out last year, and the big thing is this is more popular in apps on your phone. Like you will buy a box and you'll get randomized rewards. But the thing that has become kind of the most interesting about it is Europe actually led the charge on this. The United States is kind of playing catch up. Is that they're saying, hey, that's just gambling.
Yeah.
Randomized rewards is what gambling is. And a lot of the game makers are like, no. Because with gambling, you can lose your money. With this, you're guaranteed to get something. So it's not really gambling.
It just became a very shady side of the gaming industry that they were pushing it so big and everybody was spending their money on these things. But when you kind of dissect it, it does fall under that category.
So what ended up happening was, again, there was a big fuss. You haven't heard a lot about it lately, but there were several states that had state-level legislatures trying to ban loot boxes in video games.
Well, because gambling laws vary from state to state.
They do. And so they were going to handle it on a state level. And essentially, almost all of those state-level initiatives have died. But the big news that's back today is that there's one senator in particular that has kind of been leading.
Who's just not letting it go.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Pretty much. So which state is this person in?
It's New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan. She actually addressed the FTC yesterday and just said, hey, you guys need to do something. And the FTC said that they are currently researching it.
Now, would it be right in saying that state to state, on a level, they want to get a hold and watch what these games are doing when it comes to these loot things? Because then that means they're getting a portion of the money with gambling, or down the road there's something that they really want to get a hold of some of the revenue.
You could probably argue that to some point, but in most cases the argument that you're basically seeing come out is like, hey, this is teaching kids how to gamble. And with some kids, and again, you're seeing this, it's more of a mobile thing, but it's making its way into more mainstream kind of console based stuff, because let's face it, we all have phones, so that is a mainstream thing. But the idea is that kids are basically they're learning to gamble, and in some cases becoming gambling addicts.
And they don't even know it.
And they have no idea. It's happening at a super young age, and so it's going to lead to larger problems later. And it's completely unregulated at this point. Self-regulated.
Sure.
It's up to the companies to do something about it. And the companies know something that you and I may or may not be aware of, and that's this. This is the craziest thing, but you should totally read up on it and understand the research. You are more likely to spend money on something that has a randomized reward than you are if you know what it is. So, let's say you're playing Fortnite. Fortnite has loot boxes, but only on the paid side. On the free-to-play thing that everybody else does, it's not a loot box. It's a battle pass. But you are more likely, if I said to Nikki, hey, for $1, I'm going to give you this candy bar, but... and she might be like, no, I don't want that. But I'll say, well, this empty box over here for $1.
There's a surprise in it.
There's a surprise. You could get a candy bar. You could get $5,000. Mm-hmm. Nikki, who would never pay $1 for the candy bar, is highly likely to pay $1 for the chance
to win something better
bigger
than the candy bar.
It's an aspect of human psychology that people are getting smart about exploiting it.
Sure.
They're trying to keep people from doing that.
So Derek texted and said it's not like they're making you do it, which is a point, but yet they're really making it an attractive package for people to feel the pressure into doing it.
Yeah. So, they're looking into it. It'll be interesting to see kind of how it plays out because, dude, on your phone right now, it's like Loot Box Central in there.
Crazy.
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Who's planning on flying for Christmas this year.
Or did you just fly at Thanksgiving and you couldn't possibly fly again?
Oh, I couldn't. I couldn't.
Much.
I couldn't. You know what, Nikki? I have here the top 10 busiest airports in the world this Christmas by passenger numbers.
Sure.
So what country do you think is going to have the busiest airport in the world?
Well, maybe Paris or the UK or Atlanta?
China,
okay.
Beijing Capital International.
That's the most passengers?
Yep, they'll handle.
So that doesn't count like, everybody's coming to the airport to say goodbye. It means
no, just
numbers
passengers.
of actually people going through
this
it.
This would be between December 21st and 25th, 1.7 million passengers.
So many people. So many travelers.
Right? That is crazy. Up next, you've got Dubai International, 1.5 million. And then you've got Atlanta, 1.48 million. Tokyo Haneda Airport, 1.4 million. And then Los Angeles International, 1.4 million.
So many travelers.
Now, when it comes to like arriving and departing flights, not passengers, then the busiest one in the world will be Dubai International, followed by Atlanta International. So in other words, don't travel this year.
Or if they're like, well, the problem is every time you try to route anywhere, they always try to take you through Atlanta.
It's true.
You could be just completely on the West Coast. They're like, what do you think about going through Atlanta?
Hey,
like, I'm going from LA to San Francisco. How about through Atlanta?
Yeah, you just route through Atlanta.
It's cheaper.
That I will say, like, I often sacrifice speed for cheapness.
Yeah.
So if
they'll take you anywhere and everywhere.
They're like, hey, man, don't worry. We'll take you down here and around there, whatever. And it's like, okay, is it cheaper? Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. I'll do that.
Like, I'm in Washington. How about Texas? Let's go to Texas, and then we'll get you back up there.
I love this. Tiffany just texted in, so many germs.
Well, that's true. But that's holiday traveling for you. And you don't need to go far for germs. We've got them here if you want something.
Well, man, I was just looking. Last year I traveled for Thanksgiving and came back from Thanksgiving just shockingly, like one of the worst colds I've ever had. It took 2 rounds of antibiotics. Like, I mean, I couldn't nuke that cold to save my life.
And you probably picked up some of that when you were traveling.
I know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I'll have to say, it was like I picked it up on the way. And so I had my time there. And the day before we flew out, all of a sudden, I noticed that my nose was starting to run. The worst travel. I couldn't sleep that night because I coughed all night and then got on a plane the next day. And I actually thought, I was like, this is great. I'll spread all these germs to these people.
They're going to hate me during the whole flight.
And I've had 2 hours of sleep. So I took a lot of cough medicine trying to chill it out. Yeah, so that I wouldn't make a bunch of people sick. But dang. Man.
So if you're like, well, I traveled last Thanksgiving or last Christmas, you're like, well, he might have had his thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not traveling this year. So, traveling over to my uncle's house, but that's just in the car.
That's by sleigh.
Yeah. So, ain't no thing, right?
If you were offended or disgusted by anything Obadiah said this morning,
if you weren't so dumb, I might be offended.
You must be new. You'll get used to it. The Riot on Radio U.
So, Nikki, when you start looking for another job, which I know you have been.
Well, it's just a constant, just a looking, a lookaloo.
You guys know that Nikki, you've noticed she's taking some vacation and different things. That's her out there shopping for a new job.
It's not. Don't scare people.
What?
Don't scare people.
Telling them the truth about how you're always looking for the door constantly?
That's not at all true. Not at all true. It doesn't mean someone's offering me the door, but I'm not taking it.
All right. Well, Nikki, what if I told you that I could get you into this new position and we've got an on-site farmer's market?
Well, that sounds fun. I love a good farmer's market.
I know.
I don't want to run the farmer's market.
Okay.
But I would like to go to a farmer's market.
This to me is crazy talk, but apparently this is a write-up
way
from
to sell the position.
Market Watch, but they're saying that at some companies, Adobe, Progressive Insurance, and some children's hospitals, they offer, if you're an employee, and oh my gosh, can you imagine being in an interview and they're like, well, let me tell you about some of the great things about working here, including some of our wellness options, like our farmer's market. And everybody's like, they say that's one of the biggest selling points in getting someone to come and work for them.
No, it's not. It's called money. Not the farmer's market.
No. See, Nikki, you're at a point where you're past caring about money.
I've already passed about that. You're right. It's
Obviously.
more about the feeling that I have with the job.
Yeah, they want you to feel good about it. How about this? The Cleveland Clinic has a farmer's market.
I'm sorry. So they have a farmer's market like for their employees certain days of the week?
Yes. But
can anybody go?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know this. Employees are like, oh, yeah, that's great. Let's go down to the farmer's market, do our shopping today.
Very odd.
It's crazy.
Just, I guess, we don't work in a large corporate environment.
Right.
So I guess we just don't know if that's common now.
Our wellness options at RadioU include on-site bathrooms, electricity,
yes,
and free toilet paper.
All the good stuff.
Oh, I mean, you can't get that just anywhere.
And all the RadioU merch that you could possibly fit on your body.
At a discount.
At a discounted price.
Yeah, I mean, it's not free. You're still going to have to pay for it. But
it's
that's
just cost. But no farmer's market.
It's a hefty discount you're getting there, believe me. It's really, really something.
Anybody work at a bigger place where they do something like that? And was that incentive?
Wait, I almost forgot. Chairs. We also offer, you will be allowed to sit while working.
Some places, they don't offer that.
Yeah, not everybody's got that.
Especially in radio. They're like, would you like to stand today?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
You think you do, but you don't end up wanting to.
Oh, remember that time when you were like, I'm standing, and you made it for a whole day and a half?
Well, I wanted to just get up more. You know, we sit for so long for the show, and now that you bring it up, it probably would be better for us to spend a few more minutes standing.
Sure it would be.
Walking around the room.
You know what, though? I'll tell you what, we'll stand up and go to the farmer's market that's in the break room right now.
Because we offer one to our employees.
I'm just amazed at this.
Was it just farmer's market, or did they give any other...
Well, they said that, or like CSAs, which are basically isn't that kind of like a farmer's market?
You buy into the CSA, you buy into it for the season, and so you get a certain amount that's already chosen for you each week.
Okay.
So it's a little different, but yeah, it all revolves around the vegetables.
What? Okay, Beth is texting. She says, my office has a farmer's market once a week during the summer.
Here's the truth right here. It says incentive, usually forgets about it, so...
Yeah, but somebody must be going or they wouldn't be doing it.
Well, they wouldn't
right?
have it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I got to tell you, I don't even know what I would consider to be incentive. What kind of incentive would you give me to work at Radio? The chairs are big.
But we don't need the farmer's market.
Yeah. I mean, during the fundraiser, there's food. That's something. We had a cake on Giving Tuesday. So, I mean, there are perks.
You're hearing it for the first time, and it sounds terrible.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
It's always interesting to me how someone can take something I'm not interested in and with the use of a few adjectives make it even less appealing than it was before.
It's got that talent.
Yeah. Nikki completely sidetracked where I was headed when she sent me this piece of information about new salmon meatballs.
Well, you do not like salmon or fish, so I don't think you're going to be into this. But if you're a fan of IKEA meatballs, so if you go to IKEA, they have the normal meatballs, which they're known for with their gravy.
They're not normal meatballs, Nikki.
Well, they're
Swedish meatballs.
It's their Swedish meatballs, the normal ones that you get. And then a few years ago, they created the vegetable alternative meatball. So they had that one. And now they're talking about adding a new meatball alternative. Yay!
Do you know they also have is it a turkey or a chicken meatball?
You know, I don't know.
They have one.
Now?
Yeah, it's like another meat source.
So basically, they got, even more years ago, they got in a little bit of a PR nightmare.
Well, they were serving a horse meatball and nobody knew about it.
It wasn't officially, though, but they found that in the meat mixture of the Swedish meatballs, and I don't know if they necessarily found that here in the United States.
It was definitely in Europe.
In Europe, horse was a part of the mixture, and not everybody knew that, and it wasn't really official.
Sometimes you're in the kitchen, you just throw something in, just a little something.
You just throw it all in.
You know what? I was cooking some meat last night. It didn't call for Chipotle seasoning, but I just thought, you know what? I'm going to throw a little Chipotle in here. I think it'll just give it just a little zip.
Little something to it.
So sometimes you throw a little horse in there, They already
have salmon at IKEA, but this would be salmon meatballs to their existing offerings.
So that way, if you don't want horse or pig or whatever the heck they're making meatballs out of, cow, This way you can have fish meatballs.
They're actually saying this is because they would like to be able to use the spare salmon that does not make it into the salmon fillets. So for them, they're proud of the fact that they're doing this to help reduce waste in fish production. So they have the salmon fillets. What doesn't make it into that gets made into the fish fillet salmon meatballs, and then they can sell those too, so they're having less waste.
Okay, did everybody hear that?
Did everybody get that?
IKEA just came out and said that they want to sweep up all the leftover salmon, grind it down, and then sell it to you. And they can talk about sustainability all day long. This is not about that. This is about a way for them to make money on their trash. They're like, we're throwing away.
It's like a big nugget.
Yeah, it is.
Basically
it's like, we're throwing away all of this salmon that's perfectly good if we could just grind it down. Yes, Johnson, I see that hand. What if we made meatballs, sir?
That's amazing.
Perfect.
So they debuted in Portugal. That was the test market earlier this year. And you can find them in participating locations in the U.S. So that does join the standard Swedish meatball. You're right. It's a chicken Swedish meatball, a plant-based meatball, and now a salmon IKEA meatball. And that's all the time we'll give to the IKEA Swedish meatball.
How about just a piece of their carrot cake?
That's good.
Or don't they have like a 7-layer like chocolate cake? Don't they have one of those?
They have that little princess cake. Sometimes I feel like that.
That's for you.
Sometimes.
Like, I'm a little princess.
And I like their chicken fingers and fries, but I feel like there's something that spice-wise is not like optimal.
Well,
like there's something with that.
I don't like them because they're just coming from a bag. I like a hand-battered chicken finger.
You're not getting that anywhere you're going to.
Yeah, I am.
Where?
Cane's.
Whatever. Hand-battered from the bag.
Nuh-uh. That's a fresh-made chicken finger.
Don't think it is. No one makes them anymore like that.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
The Riot used to be 3 people.
Please tell me we're not discussing video games again.
The other guy didn't make it. It's the Riot.
Nikki, how are you with your cell phone service right now?
My cell phone service is fine. I mean, it is what it is. I think everybody feels like that.
Would you consider jumping ship if you could bring your own phone?
I doubt it because I'm on a business plan with a bunch of other people. So I can't just like leave the ship like that. They're needing me on the ship.
They don't need you, Nikki. They're using you.
I think they need me to keep the numbers there. So yeah.
They're using you to get something.
So I'll probably stay for that reason, but gone are the days of too much loyalty, and if someone gives you a better deal, go for it.
Well, Google announced, was it yesterday that they announced that they're bringing Google Fi to iOS devices? Google Fi, and you're like, what the heck is that? Think about this.
Sounds like a fraternity. So
it does, but it's a phone fraternity.
It's a phone fraternity. How do I join?
So here's the deal.
Rush.
Google Fi is a wireless. They're not a wireless carrier. They're a wireless service. So the idea is this. If you sign up for Google Fi, so like instead of Verizon or Sprint, you would be a Google Fi customer. They offer unlimited phone calls and text messages, $20 a month. And then for data, you pay $10 per gigabyte. And then up to 6 gigabytes. So, and that's just, it's only how much you use. So, like if you use, let's say you did 2.5 gig of data 1 month, that would end up costing you about $25. They would refund the $5 to you.
I'd have to pay attention because, mostly we're on Wi-Fi most of the day.
Right.
But I'd have to pay attention and see, well, how much am I actually using of data?
It would only be your mobile data. But the idea behind Google Fi is that it actually ties into 3 different carriers.
So you're using theirs?
T-Mobile, Sprint, and U.S. Cellular. And it will just use one of those at any given moment. And you don't know, like, it's a kind of like it's supposed to be a seamless process. So whichever one has the best signal is the one that Google will tie into at that moment, and you use their carrier.
Could be a good price. It just depends.
It is a good price if you're not a heavy data user. $20 a month for phone calls, which we don't do, but all the text messages you want, and then, a little data here and there. Little data.
Sprinkle it in every so often.
So, I don't know. I've never used it, though I'll tell you I have eyeballed it many times. But it's usually limited to, well, first off, always Android phones, and even particular Android phones. But now it's going to be able to be used by iPhones. So
There's something.
If you've been unhappy with your current arrangement.
And you know what? This is nice. It's nice having something in case you are currently unhappy to feel like you have something to move that you
That's
could
right.
move to. It's like my home internet. Like I'm stuck.
That's exactly what I was thinking? I was just thinking, wouldn't I love to have an option for home internet?
I know.
Instead of those bloodsuckers at Spectrum?
It's like I have another option, but they're even worse. So it's like you just wish that we had competition to kind of help things and be a little bit more pro the person buying it all.
Man, come on, high five on that.
So one day maybe we could have another option on that side of the world.
Yeah, my internet provider's like, yeah, there are options. You can dial into any number of services. Do you still have a home phone?
That's the option they give you.
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Oh gosh. Boy,
What are you reading?
All right, here you go, Nikki. I want to show you something called the 4G.
The 4G?
It's called the 4G. It is a gaming, they say it's a gaming onesie. So, this winter, as things are getting colder and colder, you find yourself in a position where you're playing video games, but you might be cold. And so here we have a large plush onesie that you put on. It zips all the way up to cover your nose.
Yeah.
So you could breathe into it.
Seems like it has different layers, but basically it's a jacket with a hood on it. The hood has slots so that you can put your headphones through it. Mm-hmm. And then it's got the face mask part, so it zips all the way up to your nose.
It has a hole in the sleeves for your index finger and your thumb, so that way you'd be able to use your mouth or your mouse or your controller easily.
Or your phone, then you can have your thumb out and still be able to use it.
Mm-hmm. It's got pockets for your phone and keep scrolling.
It's got the butt zipper.
Yep.
Any good onesie has that, Obi.
So if you have to go to the bathroom, you just unzip the back.
You don't take your onesie off.
You have a seat and you're good to go.
Well, that seems like it's got everything, doesn't it? What is the price?
Well, I don't know what the price is, and there was a time when I was like, oh, this is ridiculous, but Nikki, I now know that you're in the market for something like this.
No, it came yesterday.
Yeah, you are.
No.
You are.
I am not. It's not a onesie. I got yesterday, I ordered from Costco for a Black Friday deal that I should not have, but it was a 2-for-1.
Come on.
And it's like this comfy, if you ever go to Costco, they have these Sherpa blankets that are super soft and super comfortable. We've had those for a while. So it's in a jacket form or like a pullover that you wear.
Yeah.
And so I did get it yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
It's too hot. First, that's one. Second, it's just too big.
Wait, when you say it's too hot, you're like, it is too hot.
No, it's physically too hot after a while when you wear it.
Okay.
So I either have to bring the temperature down in the house.
But see that you're saving money.
Saving money to pay for what
Turn
I bought.
your heat down, wear your Sherpa jacket.
It's perfect. Eric wore it a lot. Like, he really loves his. But it fits him better. For me, it goes down to my knees. And, like, for him...
Oh, my. It's up
to my thigh.
No, like...
But for him, since he's taller, it fits right at a little bit below his waist. And it fits more like a pullover, like a jacket. But it's just too big for me.
Yeah, no, big. It's comfy. It's cozy. Isn't that the idea?
Unless you're sitting down while wearing it, but if you're trying to wear it while you're walking around or doing things, that's wrong. You can't.
Well, I mean, with what you've got, you won't need, what do you call it?
This one?
You won't need to unzip the back. You can just pull it up a little bit.
It's too much. I'll admit it. I still need to bring it in for you to try, but it's too much.
All right. Well, this 4G Ultimate Gaming onesie, apparently it's only available in Japan, but I'm sure you won't have any trouble importing it if you
can
really...
bring that in. If not, if you go to Pinterest, I'm sure we can find some like plans or something. We can make something.
You could make something like that.
You could take a current like onesie and just add some stuff to it. You could make it totally work.
Man, put on some actual pants, okay?
They do have pants on.
A onesie is not pants.
It kind of, well, it just doesn't have the waist.
I mean, quite frankly, no, I can't say that. You know what? I'm just going to stop here.
I feel like you're judging.
I am.
You're judging, and you're not supposed to.
It's supposed to be a judgment-free zone, and I'm in here banging the gavel.
You've got to hand it to Obadiah and Nikki. Anyone can eat junk food all day.
Where's my food?
but they've figured out a way to get paid for it. The Riot on Radio U.
Okay, Nikki, if you could make Panda Express's orange chicken at home, would you?
If it was easy enough, yeah. I mean, we all you try to find a disgruntled employee who has posted a recipe or something close enough of your favorite sort of restaurant food to try to make it at home, but then you realize it's a lot of items and you got to buy a lot of stuff.
Man, so the people at what's the name? Taste of Home, they have what, if I understand it, is the actual Panda Express recipe.
Orange chicken recipe?
Yeah.
I don't think I can make the chicken like they do either.
Okay, you need, well, see, that would be the thing is the boneless chicken, or I mean the breaded chicken I wouldn't have.
And I don't think it's going to taste as good if you just put it on a chicken breast.
So let's see here. You got to have soy sauce, white wine or rice wine, minced ginger, garlic, cornstarch, canola oil, a tablespoon of honey, 2/3 of a cup of orange juice, orange marmalade, rice vinegar, red chili flakes, sesame oil. See, the thing is, by the time I buy all those ingredients and make this thing,
could have just gone.
It would have been cheaper and easier just to let them make it.
Or they sell the sauce.
Yeah, but I always feel like when you go into a place and buy the sauce, it's not the same. It just never, even though they say it's the same stuff we use here in the store.
In order to bottle it that way.
It's it's not. It doesn't taste right.
It still goes back to sauce aside. You have to have the item to put the sauce on. And
true.
I don't know how to make the chicken that way.
Well, you would need breading and chunks of chicken
fryer.
And a fryer.
And we can't start that. If I found out how to make chicken that way, I can't do that.
Oh, I don't think it's that hard.
No, I just can't. I
You're
can't
just saying
open
you
that
choose
door.
Not to. Okay.
Yeah, I can't open the door to fried chicken at home.
Because my thought is you get yourself a fryer, and I mean,
and the air fryer does not work.
No, not for this.
This is the real fryer.
This you're going to need an actual fryer, but yeah, you just got to figure out the right kind of breading. You get yourself a couple of chicken breasts,
throw them on in,
cube them maybe.
Yeah, and then
it'd be smaller pieces.
Toss them around in the sauce. Oh. That's why we can't do that at home, though.
I'll bet that would taste pretty good. Because if there's anything that obviously any Chinese restaurant struggles with, it's the quality of the chicken that you're getting.
The chicken is the part, and then it just sits around, too, for a while. So you could just freshly, right out of the fryer, have that. We're not going to. No,
when are we
not
going
to learn to do that.
When are we just going to rip the Band-Aid off and get a fryer?
I'm not going to buy a fryer. I have an air fryer. We can only fry with air. We cannot let ourselves fry the other way.
Derek, who just texted 8772-RADIO-U, says, Obi is right. Wing sauce never tastes the same when you just buy the sauce.
True.
It doesn't. Man, I love bourbon chicken, and at the Circleville Pumpkin Show in Ohio every year, there's this place. I don't know what their name is, but they're always in the same spot, and they have bourbon chicken, and they sell their sauce. Yeah. So one year I bought the sauce, and I was like, do you want to take this home and cook with it? No. It's not right.
That's because they have to have it slightly different so they can still keep you coming back to them.
I guess. It just didn't work out for me. So Aaron says it's not hard. You don't need a fryer. Just a pan with some oil.
I can't do the oil stuff. No.
Just no.
Once I find out how easy it is to make chicken so delicious, no, I can't. I cannot know that.
This chicken's not very good. Oh, we can fix that right now.
We can fix that, no problem. I just need that to be the line that I've drawn in my life.
Don't you worry yourself.
I don't want to hear how easy it is. I just can't do it.
I appreciate that. It's like me buying a bag of Doritos.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Or no, finding out how easy it is to make the Doritos. Oh my God, I just can't.
It's no good.
Turn it up loud enough and your neighbors will call the cops. Because it's obviously a cry for help. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Nikki, I don't feel like you and I have really had a good Christmas chat.
In a while?
Yeah, what do you want for Christmas this year?
It's a good question. I don't know if I want anything. I mean, I do want stuff.
You want to make sure that you get something.
I want to make sure I get something, but is there anything specific that I want yet? Not really.
No? There's nothing that calls to you? Like,
no. I've been thinking about, for this project that I've been doing, one of those like Insta printers, the small little ones that use the ink on the paper itself. Like the little portable printers, the tiny ones.
I can honestly tell you, no.
This might be more in my world.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're little tiny ones, like the sprockets and all those. You put
mean
the paper
with your host,
in.
Dita? Do you want to touch the sprocket monkey?
When it prints, it's got the paper you pull off. You can stick it somewhere.
What do you stick in what? Where?
The picture.
So wait, all right, let me see. This is a small printer.
Portable printer, yeah.
That prints pictures?
Yeah.
So we're talking about like those old school Polaroid cameras?
Kind of looking like that, yes. And then the ink is on the paper itself. So you just put it in there.
That's the part I don't understand. So you're telling...
The ink's on the printer paper, the photo paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you put it in there.
And then you print. And then you can print your pictures. Didn't think it would be that hard.
Well, I don't understand. Okay, a pocket printer to me means like I'm taking it somewhere.
Yeah, so you can just have it anywhere you want. And then you print it from the app on your phone.
Okay, now I'm not trolling. I'm
I know
really
you're
asking
not.
questions
I know
here,
you're
okay?
not.
So why? Do you find yourself often in public?
It's weird. No,
just
no,
like,
I'm not taking
boy,
it around.
I wish I had a printer in my purse.
No, I'm not taking it around.
Okay,
but
it's a pocket photo printer.
Meaning it's just small. Because I already have two printers at home, and one of them is a pain to print pictures on. So I was just like, I might want a little small one. So I've been tempted. The photo quality is not the best because it's a different technique for it. But is it good enough? And maybe that's what I want.
So you can print pictures.
Yeah. Because I need that for just a certain side of my life, and I was thinking about that.
Okay, all right.
And then I saw them on sale for Black Friday, and
how much were they on Black Friday?
The one I was looking at, I think, was $89.
Right now, for $89.95, I could get you the HP Sprocket photo printer.
That's the one. Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the one I was looking at. So does anybody else use one? And is it? I'm just looking for good enough. It doesn't have to be amazing, but I just want good enough.
I think based on what you just said, the printers you have at home are probably already there.
No, those are just a pain, though, to set up, get the printer, the ink paper. It's just a much. It's just terrible.
Well, Nikki really needs a third printer.
I want a third little one.
A little one.
A cute little one. Okay. And then if I have to take it somewhere, I can if I need to.
I just love the idea of us being out at lunch and all of a sudden you're handing out pictures of us eating. And it's like, here.
Well, I think it sounds fun, doesn't it? We could all take a few more pictures.
It'd be great.
And we never do anything with the pictures except digitally. Yeah, I keep it there, but every so often I might want to do something else.
Okay, all right. I'm not against it.
So that's what I've been
surprised by it.
I am too. That's what I've been thinking about, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it.
That's interesting. I literally have never seen one of those.
Really?
Never.
Well, like I said, you're not in my world then on some things because that comes up often.
Oh yeah, no idea what you were talking about there. So, all right. Well, I'm just keeping my options open. Just keep my options open. Paying attention to Nikki, seeing what she needs.
You do not need to ever get me one of those.
A sprocket printer?
Don't know yet. But if anybody has any other fun Christmas gift ideas, we're taking ideas.
Yeah. Nobody has any fun. That's not something they do. So, but that's a great suggestion.
That is the gift card world. That's where the fun comes in.
Yeah.
You remember that time you started your morning with a gas station breakfast sandwich and immediately regretted it? Yeah, it's like that. The Riot. RadioU.
Have you? Oh, dude, actually, I don't want to just ask you, Nikki. I want to blow this out to everybody. I want to know if anybody has ever just gone into a store and started eating food. Now,
like in a grocery store?
Yeah. No. I will say, like, I have been in a store where I've been like, I'm starving, and like I'll maybe
a bag of grapes
or like something like a bag of chips and eat it and then just pay for it when I check out.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done that?
No, but I've seen people like eat the groceries
like
that go through.
Just grazing?
Yeah, just while you're shopping. And I didn't think you were quite supposed to do that because it's technically not yours until you...
Just to be clear, everything in that store is not yours.
I know, but until you go through the process of checking out, that's when that's when the ownership has changed.
Sometimes I'll like go through, buy it, and eat it while I'm in the store. But then I just feel like I have to have a receipt out and show every employee, like, I paid for this. I paid for this.
Well,
I paid for this.
Also, too, if you think about, like, if you're at a restaurant, I guess we're eating before we pay for it anyways.
All the time.
Yeah, but
I'm not usually one
who does that. No, I've never done that.
Really?
Never opened up anything in the grocery store until down the car. Oh, yeah. You get in the car.
Well, I mean, sometimes when I'm in the store, I have occasion to, meet a need.
You're not supposed to go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Well, that's why I'm eating while I'm in there, because that way,
you buy things you're not supposed to buy.
I'm eating stuff, and then I'm less likely to buy things that I don't need. There's a woman here in the UK. She has been sent to jail for eating Pringles in the store. She was...
I feel like there's more to the story. It surely isn't just for that.
Well, she'd been...
Was it Pringles and drugs?
She'd been banned. Oh, my gosh. She has 14 convictions for theft.
Well, there it is. See, there's the real story. So was it all Pringles, or what was she stealing?
In this particular case, she has been banned from this particular store. And she came back in anyway. While she was there, she just started opening up Pringles and eating them.
Once you stop, what's the tagline?
You can't stop. Yeah. Once you pop, you can't stop.
I mean, that's not her fault. Mm-hmm. They say that's how it's going to be.
So she says, look, I'm 5 months pregnant. You can't send me to jail. And they were just like, yeah, we can. No problem.
No problem with that at all.
We can do that. So, okay, Matt says, my wife and I opened food for our 2-year-old to eat to keep him calm.
I see people do that.
Yeah, like that's the thing is, like when you got a baby, people are like, whatever, shut it up. Whatever it takes to shut up your baby.
I don't know, but are you like that when you're going around and someone's like, will someone please just open food for him?
You mean me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So they're like, here, give this guy something.
That guy needs to shut up. Give him something to eat.
Yeah, give him food.
Sure. So, man, think about that. 2 months in jail, 5 months pregnant.
2 real months in jail, or like, you go in? Because I don't know if they have overcrowding like we do. Because the 2 months here is you go in and that's probably a couple of hours.
You think so? I don't know how it works in the UK. I've never been jailed in the UK, so.
You haven't lived.
I'll tell you. I mean, I know what it looks like on British TV shows.
Sure. Dude, yeah, I mean, think about this, too. Pringles, are those still around? They sound really good, but...
Yeah, they still make Pringles.
I guess it just doesn't seem like the chip of choice anymore.
Well, I mean, you're not pregnant, Nikki. Like,
I'm not going through the store.
Might be one of those things like, man, I got pregnant, and I didn't even think they made Pringles anymore. That's all I eat now.
The last we've had of Pringles was these terrible, like, Christmas edition ones.
They were bad.
Never had one since then.
Man, I don't think I have either.
See? It's just not... It's not around.
You know what we should do after the show?
No, we're not going on another road trip. We're not allowed to.
Why not? Says who?
Says until next week. We can do one road trip a week.
Who said that?
That's what we're now having as the rule.
You're making the rule?
I'm making the rule up. And we're not going just for Pringles.
Sounds like you jail a pregnant lady is what I'm hearing.
Nikki and Obadiah. Obadiah and Nikki.
Love, hate, hate, love.
All right, everyone in, let's go!
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
You driving right now? You in the car? Is that what you're doing?
You want people to say yes?
I mean, I'm just wondering. Because if you are, you better not be watching Netflix.
While you're driving?
While you're driving.
That is not when you guys put in Netflix hours. Though I have seen people drive and watch movies, like as the driver.
Minnesota State Patrol. Mm-hmm. They've got a woman who was just in an accident. She drove off the road.
Because she was watching Netflix?
Mm-hmm. She just absolutely admitted to it. Now, people actually, here's what I love. People on the scene had reported her driving erratically to the police.
You can tell when someone's watching something or looking at their phone because you'll just see them be like, and then way back over, and they'll just keep doing that.
This morning on my way in, I had somebody in front of me who, for reasons unknown, suddenly just obviously took their foot off the accelerator and started weaving around on the road. And I passed them because I was like, okay.
No, you don't want to be near it.
I don't want to be anywhere near this. And I look and they were absolutely just staring at their phone. And it was like, man.
And then you feel like, should I honk at them? Or if I honk at them, are they going to go and lose it and then come after you? Like, you want to tell them, like, someo's noticing that you're doing. Yeah, like, it's not okay. But then you don't want them to go and do something not okay. Yeah. I never know what to do, but you see it all the time.
I continue to be amazed, especially in the morning. I feel like because when Nikki and I are on our way in, the roads are a lot emptier than they are during the rest of the day, and it's dark outside. And so that actually gives me an opportunity to really see what people are doing. And so I am just amazed almost every morning at how many people that I see that are running some kind of a video on their phone that they have mounted to their dashboard.
Your car just glows from it. I mean, it's dark at that time.
It does.
So.
You can see. And I mean, like, I just see people. I mean, maybe they're not watching it, but I don't see how they aren't.
No, I see people hold their phone in the middle of the wheel.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And you're like, guys, that is dangerous, like on the freeway.
And they're just like, man, whatever.
You got to get through you're binge watching, but you're supposed to binge watch at home or in a safer location where you're not driving.
Yeah, so I love the way that she just completely copped to it. She's like, yep.
That's what she was doing.
I did that. I was watching Netflix.
Well, at least she didn't hurt somebody else.
She did not. She did not. But she did definitely trash her car. And
I think at that point, that creative sentencing's good to where if you do that enough or you have to go to court for it, you lose your phone. Like, you just don't get your phone. And you don't get a tablet either. Like, you get nothing for a certain amount of time.
Interestingly enough, she wasn't even watching on her phone. She was watching on her iPad, which was sitting in the seat next to her.
Great. Great. Looking over and down.
She didn't even have it angled up somewhere, so at least it was kind of in her field of view.
Nope.
What are we doing?
So where was she at?
This was in Minnesota.
Well, it happens everywhere, all the time.
You kind of hate to be that guy, but maybe just go and put your phone down.
Or
your iPad.
She had her tablet down.
Okay,
you have to say it the right way.
All right, turn it off.
Turn it off. Anything that you have except the radio. Like, we're fine, but don't be watching anything.
What are you doing?
Believe it or not, the Riot doesn't have an endorsement deal with Nabisco. They just keep talking about all the new Oreo flavors for free. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Got some bad news, everybody. Looks like the average size of apartments around the United States shrinking.
Going smaller?
They say apartments are getting smaller and smaller. So if you are, admittedly, it's not that big of a deal. 5% is what they say the average is. And again, something to think about is, like, if you're living in the Midwest,
it trickles down, so you won't see that for years.
And I don't know, like, Midwest prices are like, it's cheap. Like, cost of living is a lot cheaper and you get a lot more space for your money. But the major metropolitan area with the smallest apartment size, what city would you pick, Nikki? And I'll just tell you right now, it's not New York.
San Francisco.
It's not San Francisco.
San Diego?
Seattle.
Seattle, okay.
Seattle has the average lowest size apartments in the United States, 711 square feet.
Well, who wants space anyways?
It's overrated.
Well, it's hard. In other parts of the country, what you get is you get a lot of space and still a lower price tag. But when you get to certain cities, it's very hard when you want to live there because you're getting a very low amount of space for a very high price tag. It's not like the lower space means you're saving money. It just literally means they're giving you less space and you have to still pay so much money. Seattle's terrible.
Wow. So I'm looking at a Seattle apartment here in South Lake Union. That's a neighborhood there. It's 280 square feet, $1,500
It's
a
almost
month.
like you cannot afford to go anywhere near the actual city parts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You just can't live there.
Let's see. Here's one in New York, though. 400 square feet. It's in the Murray Hill neighborhood. $2,500.
That is so much money for that size.
Crazy.
And when you see it, too, for some of these apartments, you're like, okay, but at least maybe it'll be nice. It might not even be nice.
Let's go big then, all right? Biggest apartments in the United States. Top 5. Birmingham, Alabama is at 5. 4, Decatur, Georgia. 3, Columbia, South Carolina.
Is that because in the South they're still so polite and that hospitality to offer you space?
Number 2, Marietta, Georgia, and the number 1 city with the largest average apartment size, Tallahassee, Florida.
It's all down there.
So if you want to, take a shot at...
You'll need more space for the humidity.
Because you're just going to be sweating.
Those really hot summer months, you want to make sure you have your space and you're not near too many people.
Mm-hmm. So apartment sizes are shrinking. Move south, apparently. That's the way to go.
That's where you're supposed to be at.
That's where you can get some more space. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of people are into downsizing. The last time I moved, I got more space, and it's great.
It's so much better.
It's awesome.
It's just wonderful.
I love having a bunch of space. It's great. And people are like, you just fill it with junk.
No.
Not necessarily.
You don't have to fill it with things, but you still have space to walk around. I feel bad, but Jen found the silver lining on that. Smallest apartments in Seattle. Now you all are making me feel better about getting rejected for a job in Seattle.
Yeah,
so
come on.
Thanks for texting, Jen. See how that worked out? You didn't want to be in a small apartment anyways.
That's right. You want
the job somewhere in the South.
You want to go to Tallahassee. That's where you're going to get a big old apartment.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Whatever it takes to shut up your baby.
I know.